All right, guys, so in this video, I'm going to be going through all the different CBS graphics packages over the years, going all the way back to 2003. These are just television scoreboards or score bugs, however you call it, and I'm going to be giving my grade on each of them. I actually think the ones from 2011 to like 2017, those were the best CBS scoreboards, just visually the most appealing, and they do have a big impact on the game in terms of when you're watching it, it's always on the screen. You want to have a good graphics package, and certainly all of these, networks try and improve it. But just going back, this is like the first real one. You can see this is like 2003, kind of the origin, the base circle, which is kind of what CBS used for a while. And then you do have the little scoreboard attached to it. There's no records, there's no different team colors, and there's no logo. So, very basic. Obviously, hard to find games in HD just because it's so old. This is the really early 2000s. You can see some different. It's hard to really grade it. Obviously, it's not good. And then this was kind of like their first, at least semi-modern one, where they actually lit it up. Looks more, natural. This was debuted in the mid 2000s, around 2006, I believe, through 2010. You can see, I actually like this one. So they took it from the right to the left. It still doesn't have the logos. It doesn't have the team colors, but I do like that dark blue feel, and also just CBS in general, the circle. I just like that symbol, the way it was done. It comes off very clean. So this is a very simplistic scoreboard, but they certainly upgraded it, and you do have the dark blue mixed with the white, where the team's total points are. That's another cool thing about it. Certainly not their best one, but it definitely some nostalgia. I was pretty young when that one, made its debut and was used regularly. But getting into the next one, so this is when CBS got really good with their graphics package in 2011. They debuted this. The only real issue with this one for me, I think the timeouts kind of seem, unnatural, the 3 timeouts above. But yeah, this is a really good scoreboard. You do have the team color in the background. You've got the team logos. Back then, CBS really only had the rights to AFC games, so that's why if you were an NFC team, you normally never played on CBS unless the team you were facing was an was an AFC team visiting an NFC team. So in essence, NFC teams would only appear on CBS twice a year when they would host an AFC team, if that makes sense. Now it's just all thrown out the window and none of it even matters, but that's how it was back then. So like in this example, San Diego AFC team going to an NFC team, that's why it's on CBS. It was a rare moment in this, spot for the Cowboys to appear on CBS. But yeah, I really like this one. I don't think it was their best one, but I would say this is probably their second best scoreboard in terms of that. That was a crazy game. So yeah, when I was getting photos for this to give examples, just this game was like in week 6 and there was a snowstorm in Foxborough. Like that would be like a snowstorm happening this weekend. But yeah, that was the game where the Titans and the Patriots both wore their throwback jerseys. And New England, I think, won 59-0. Didn't Brady throw like 6 touchdowns in the first half, maybe 5? But that was just a crazy game. The fact that there was a snowstorm in mid-October. But yeah, this was a really good scoreboard, and they kind of improved it because normally a scoreboard's life is like 3 years. So over that 3-year period, the base model is going to stay the exact same, but they might change a few different graphics when it comes to like introducing players, introducing the lineups, the beginning of the game presentation where it's like the Ravens versus the Colts. So they'll change that. Also, there's a really interesting thing with Landover, Maryland. I remember noticing this when I was younger. Basically, once you get later into the season when the clocks change, even for a 1 o'clock, like this is a 1 o'clock game, Landover, Maryland, the shadows are covering up half the field. Does the sun set there? I guess at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's crazy how that's a 1 o'clock game and it's already covered in shadows. I always thought that was interesting when I was younger, but that's neither here nor there. You can take a look at some different photos of that one. And then this is probably this would be my favorite scoreboard of all time because I always thought CBS had the best scoreboard. Certainly Fox has the best picture But this one, it's just an upgraded version of the last one. It looks better. The timeouts look more precise and less clunky, like not stacked on top of the scoreboard, just kind of in there. And then you can just see it's more vibrant. The colors come off very well. I'm sure some people remember that Kansas City Redskins game when they were called the Redskins. That was a total blowout, 38-7 in the second quarter. What a miserable game that was. If you looked at the stands in that game, there was no one there. But the reason the Redskins, who were an NFC team at the time, the reason they were appearing on CBS was because an AFC team, the Chiefs, was visiting them. Again, those are those rules. Because I was always wondering why were NFC teams never on CBS, but that's why, because it was CBS was for AFC teams and Fox was for NFC teams. But this is just such a vibrant scoreboard. The fonts are great. Everything is great. Obviously, the thing that it's missing at this point, and really no scoreboard had this, it was the record. But like in something like, you would have to redesign the scoreboard to try and fit the record in. It's just so clunky. That's why I don't like records on the scoreboard, because it just comes off really clunky and really bad. It doesn't present well. I can understand casual people, they want to see the record of the teams, but you know, if you watch the NFL, you should know, you know, these teams are good, they're bad. You should generally know, you know, if a team is 6-2, maybe I won't exactly know they're 6-2, but I know they're like 5-3, you know, 6-2, 7, something like that. But either way, that is what it is. And then, I mean, my goodness, name a bigger downgrade. This is when the NFL in 2016, this is when this came in, because I think it was like Carson Wentz's rookie year, I remember. Just a huge downgrade. So they end up moving the scoreboard from the top to the bottom, and it's just a block. They completely change everything. CBS went through a huge graphic change, and they like changed their logo to like a block and stuff, like you can see it up in the right. And then the scoreboard itself, it's not vibrant. I mean, I guess it has the logo. I just don't like the font either. To me, it looks very clunky. This looks like a scoreboard. It looks like they went backwards to me, going from that last one to this one. It just doesn't look very good, just too clunky. And then they did start including the team records in 2017, I want to say. And you can see them down there. I guess it doesn't look horrible, just presenting that down there. But overall, not a fan of this scoreboard. And then this is the most recent one. So they did a good job cleaning it up. You can tell this one's a lot smaller, and it's just cleaner. It's more clear. It presents better. It's not clunky. And it looks pretty good. I would say this is like their second or third, best scoreboard CBS has produced since 2004. Certainly, it's not their best one. And then you could just see some of the logos going through the years. And then I guess I'll just give my rankings from worst to best. I mean, I guess you have to say the worst one is the first one, just because there's nothing to it. I couldn't even find video in HD, so it's hard to really, there's just nothing to it. It is what it is. It's before iPhones were even invented. What are you going to do? Then I'll say this one is the second worst, just because while I like it and there is nostalgia, actually, you know what? I like that one. I'm not going to say that's the second worst. I'll actually say the second worst one is the one that we just had, the 2016 one. It's just not fun to look at. It's a block. It looks ugly. I'm sorry. And CBS, they do have good scoreboards, so it's hard to rank these, but that would be the second worst one. And then the one in the middle would be the one, the blue one up in the top left corner from like 2007. That would be probably ranked in the middle. That was the scoreboard during the Peyton Manning Super Bowl against Chicago. What was that, 2007, 2008, something like that. And then the second best one would be the one from 2011, which was like the big evolution to the, upper scoreboard. That looks really nice. And then in my opinion, the best scoreboard right now, pretty much of all time when it comes to NFL, is the one from 2013 to 2016. That was really peak NFL. There's no doubt about it. That was peak NFL. In terms of it just brings everything together, the vibrance of the colors, the overall shape of it presents extremely well. So that would be the best one when it comes to CBS. And then when it comes to the future, I believe they've had this scoreboard for 3 straight years. And is CBS hosting the Super Bowl this year? If they are, they'll probably, because Fox did it last year. Fox debuted their new scoreboard in the Super Bowl. That's what these TV networks tend to do. So if CBS does get a new scoreboard, I would love for them to go back to the one from 2014. I doubt they'll do it, but it would just be best for everyone because it did visually look the best, but they would have to somehow include the records because people would immediately get angry if those aren't included now that people are so accustomed to them. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on X. Link to that's always in the description.